Wow, what can I even say about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever? Um, I guess I can say it was kinda forever. It took, the movie was just too long. It was 2 hours and 48 fucking minutes. I mean, it was close to like 3 hours long. It was just so much talking. I mean, I'm a fan of Black Panther, right? The character. And from a black man's perspective of watching this movie, after everything that has came around it, all I can say is that Chadwick Boseman passed, and it was very sad, but it felt so fourth wall breaking in a sad and sick kind of way, where in the beginning of the film he's dying from like an unknown disease, right? And then we had an unknown disease hit us, and he dies, off screen, which he died to many of us off screen because we didn't know who Chadwick was. We just knew him as an actor. He owes us nothing, right? And we don't really owe him anything. And he they kill off Black Panther, and it's like, to anyone who wanted to watch Black Panther again, too bad, because the guy that was playing your favorite character passed away. So that means we will no longer have that character on screen. And it's just a weird, very sad thing. Like, I don't know, maybe they shouldn't have made it. They didn't have to make the movie. All this representation.
La representaciones, las representaciones en la representación, representaciones,
Representations, representation.
I'm a piece of representation in gaming, and see representation on the big screen and to feel represented.
Represented.
Represent.
Representation.
Represented, they're representing.
Representing.
This representation.
Exciting, right?
I mean,
It's not something that we do because it's a political move, but it's because is really good for the story.
That I guess it was so needed and so desperately desired by the MCU was more important than just sending Chadwick off on the merit that he was a good person, and that he had friends and family that loved him, and we as fans of a character that he played in 2 movies isn't enough to just destroy the entire character, which is what they did. They killed off the character and then replaced it with someone who just doesn't seem fit for the role. But I mean, I'm no one. I'm not gonna be like, oh, there can't be a female Black Panther. It's sexist. It needs to be a dude. But I will say that she is very tiny, and I forget her name, but she is very small, and it just doesn't make. I didn't buy it, and I didn't buy that she was smart enough to synthesize the fucking flower to give her the Black Panther abilities. I didn't buy it, and for what it's worth, I think it's like Thor: Love and Thunder, where it's like, if you were able to recreate this plant, why couldn't you just give it to many people? Then you'd have the Black Panther, all over. You'd have Black Panthers all over Wakanda, in a sense. Like, everyone can protect Wakanda even better. Like, why it's the same thing with Love and Thunder, where it's like, if you could give everyone Thor's abilities, why wouldn't you give all the kids Thor abilities? Why wouldn't you have given everyone Thor's abilities at the point when everyone kind of needed it, And I mean, yeah, if Wakanda was protected or is so protected, why didn't they help during Endgame? Why didn't they help during the shit in Doctor Strange with Wanda, or the stuff with Spider-Man splitting the fucking universes? I mean, there's a lot of shit that happened where Wakanda didn't really do shit, and they're over here like, we're the best, And it's just, it was weird. It was just, I couldn't get past the fact that they made Chadwick's death part of this movie. It was just weird and sad and just off-putting, because the character's not dead, obviously. The character didn't die that way, obviously. If you read the comics, that never happened. So it's just like, I don't know. It's just interesting. It's just interesting how people can change these stories around. And I feel for the director, right? I feel that he wrote the script for Chad, and then Chad passed, so he had to rewrite it. But they could have just not did it. They could have just been like, all right, you know what, we're just gonna take some time, maybe a couple years, find another Black Panther, recast Black Panther, and then go on about making this second Black Panther film. But no, they had to make it into like a eulogy or like into like a remembrance movie, and it's just so whack, you know. And Riri, don't really care about Riri Williams and the whole new Iron Man thing. It's just like really this like young girl that's like 19, like, you know. I'm surprised they didn't have Harrison Ford cameo as General Ross trying to like talk to her first, you know, because if she's really that smart with the vibranium or whatever, it's like, where was she at through all this, through everything else? You know, maybe the blip is what made her smart. Maybe the snap, Thanos snap it snapped away her brain, and then when it came back, it was like fucking the Kang brain. And you know, Namor, I don't really know what to say about Namor. I mean, that was definitely the representation at its finest. I mean, I couldn't really picture any other. I think the only other villain and character that we had with a funnier accent than Namor was Quicksilver, Wanda's cousin or brother, right? Wanda's cousin Wanda's brother that passed away, and then the Whiplash guy from Iron Man 2, the guy with the whip. I would kill you, Tony Stark. But Namor was hilarious. I mean, Jesus, his little winged feet, Icarus feet, like, god damn it. Oh, so funny. And she ripped him off. Oh, I forgot. I fell asleep like a couple times in this movie, you know, and I kept having to get woken up. Thankfully, I was with a group, but like, yeah, it was just, I kept falling asleep. Like, it's just so much, talking so much. Namor, the backstory of his papa and his mama dying, and then becoming the blue fish. They pretty much became Avatar. Like, what was this supposed to be? Low-key marketing for Avatar. Having bluefish people. I mean, it's like everyone's like, all right, now I'm ready for the next thing we're gonna go see. This is Avatar, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, James Cameron had to have called up the guy, I forget the guy's name that directed this, Coogler or something. Probably called him up and was like, hey, I know you're making like fish people, and like, you should make them blue. Cause you know, just make them blue. They could have been green, pink. Fuck, they could have been white and it would have probably looked cooler. You know, make them all pale and shit. But then it probably looked too much like Gore. Then it'd be too much like Thor. But you know, for what it's worth, it was whatever. I didn't really care for Wakanda Forever, and I wish the Queen would have became the Black Panther. That would have been cool, because I do agree with the drinker that she looks fit, and then the scenes that she was in is like, damn girl, you got shoulders. It's like, oof, like definitely, she definitely should have just become Black Panther. I would have been down. Or her and Shuri could have taken the plant and both become Black Panthers. And as for Riri, my homie made the funniest comparison. Riri looks like Ava from WALL-E, as if they made Ava into a mech suit for someone, that's what the suit would look like. It would look like Ironheart's suit. It would be pretty much Ava. So I don't know how the hell and why the hell they did that shit backwards of bringing Ironheart's series after this. Because what, is she going to fight more fish people? Like, who the fuck could she fight? I mean, I know they're probably going to give her a villain, but it's like, what the fuck? Like, they could have done that first and introduced us to her first and her smarts first, and then like, oh, she's in Wakanda, and then they're trying to recruit her because of all the bullshit that had happened with her. Like, you know, or there's a race to recruit her because of all the shit that happened with her in her show. It's like, nah, now we're going to have the show. And it's like, well, what the shit's going to happen in the show?
You know what? Let's also talk about these young Black geniuses that we will get to experience.
Yes. She's a genius. She's amazing. A genius, 19-year-old MIT student. You are a genius, and geniuses tend to get into a lot of trouble.
MIT educated genius.
Female genius.
A genius, a super genius.
A female genius, and like the greatest warrior in the world.
Beauty, the strength, the intelligence.
Yes.
The intelligence. I am so excited for little Black girls to see this one in particular,
Absolutely.
even more than the first one. I'm so excited for us.
I could really care less.